All righty. You know what else came up the other day to me, Brian? I'll have you know and make you aware of this. Somebody tweeted, again, it's the center of the universe, but somebody tweeted an old clip from the Saturday night TBS show from the studio of Rick Steiner, messing, out wrestling, abusing, making fun of one of the job guys, and Kevin Sullivan's there cheering him on. And Steiner got him he wasn't hurting him, but he got him in the sugar hold, and he was using his other hand to pick the guy's nose or whatever. And I just tweeted something about, this is the a loose version of the sugar hold, blah, blah, blah. And I got people that's what the sugar hold is. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. And you know what? That got me started thinking, even the amateur wrestlers that get into business just for a fucking hold, that if nothing else, so that they can work the people, or in any context, nobody uses a sugar hold anymore. And some people don't know what it looks like when it gets referred to. And it's so fucking simple. Have you noticed that?
Years ago when we had William Harding on the 605 Super Podcast to talk about his sugar hold escape from Bob Roode.
His adventures in Frankfurt.
That was one of the interesting things. It's something you hear about. It's something wrestlers, especially guys who came from the snake pit in Florida, talk about. But there aren't any great examples. When you would ask a wrestler who knew what it was, if they knew of a good example on YouTube or something, they would say there's nothing. And sometimes it would be like, hey, there's footage of Bob Roode stretching a fan. For a moment, he almost kind of has what the fuck? So no, I think most people have no idea what it looks like. I'm still not sure what it looks like.
Well, in that case then, young Brian, imagine that you are down on the mat and you're not flat on your back straight out. You are turned over on, let's say, your left-hand side. So you're on your left side straight out laying on the wrestling mat, right? I am going to kneel down right behind your back. And I'm going to, I sound like Billy Jack now in the movie. I'm going to take my right foot. I'm going to take my left arm, and I am going to go hook over your right arm behind your head at your neck, and then over your left arm. So basically, my entire left arm is behind your neck, with both of your goddamn arms extended over the top of your head. You see what I'm saying now?
Yeah. I mean, again, I've heard this explanation before. I still need to see it, but yeah.
Well, and then with my right arm, I'm going to reach down and I'm going to grab a hold, and I'm going to post up real good with my left hand. So I've got those locked, but also my arms are straight. And at the same time, because I've got your body turned sideways, with my weight in a certain way, and you're trapped from turning backwards because I'm right behind you and I got my weight on you. I'm going to crank that, and it's either going to pop the blood vessels in your eyeballs, or it's going to pop your eardrums, or it's another version of choking somebody out, because you can compress the neck and et cetera and all the various parts enough for the guy goes, blah. That's what Watts put on the fucking guy that wanted to wrestle Doc that night and then didn't want to wrestle, couldn't get him out of the ropes. But Watts put a fucking sugar on him and cranked it. And the guy stood up, had no idea where he was, got out of the ring, walked about halfway to the front door and fell down again.
Wait,
but nevertheless.
When was that? Where Bill Watts put the sugar hold on someone who wanted to fight Dr. Death?
Well, there was some guy at a TV taping in Shreveport, Louisiana one night in Mid-South that had somehow, I don't know, but he had made a bad impression on everybody, because this is the only time they ever did this. I was there for a year at every TV. But this guy somehow had insisted he was going to be a wrestler. He could be a wrestler. He could whip fuck a wrestler, whatever the fuck. I'm going to show you what I can do. And okay, motherfucker. And the guys actually stayed after TV to watch this fucking guy show everybody what he could do. So Watts said, okay, wrestle Dr. Death. Well, he gets in the ring with Dr. Death. And suddenly the only thing the guy wants to do is grab a hold of the goddamn ropes. Anytime Doc would try to drag him out of the ropes, he wouldn't let go. The referee would say, you got to let go. He lets go. He jumps back. He can't get him. He can't fucking, Doc can't do anything with him because he's holding on to the ropes like a goddamn chimpanzee. So finally, after they've done this for 5 or 6 minutes, I said, all right. Tell you what, we need more idea what you can do as a professional style. So tell you what, I'm an old man. I'm 45 and this fucking college age guy or whatever, he's beefy and chunky, but now he's also halfway blown up because he's been gripping the goddamn ropes every time Doc gets a hold of him like the lifeboat at the Titanic. So Watts says, here, I'm an old man. He takes his fucking jacket off and his hat and everything. And he says, I'll give you a headlock. Get a headlock on me. Show me what you can do. The guy grabbed Watts in a fucking headlock just like he'd seen on television, and Watts give him that fucking Thez belly to back over on top of his fucking head and turned him over and put the sugar hold on him and cranked up until the fucking it looked like his right hand could pick his own left ear. He just turned him in all kinds of goddamn contorted positions with just a sugar hold. And then he let him up and because the guy couldn't do anything else and was screaming at the time. And the guy stood up and got out of the ring. And as I recall, just started to walk toward the front door and fell out again. And Watts said, all right, workout's over. and then we all left and went home. But, and Watson, he split his pants, getting the sugar hold on him. I just thought of that. He got him in a sugar hold. Watson's pants, his fucking white goddamn underwear mooning everybody, but he's cranking on that fucking, because it wasn't like they did that regularly to entertain the boys and be sadistic and horrible. Somehow this guy had presented himself and made such an impression on whoever, Grizzly Smith, Jack Curtis, whoever was at the front door, whoever had lined this up. There was really no local Shreveport promoter. This was just some asshole that had pissed everybody off enough. They're like, all right, you want to wrestle somebody? Here we go. And then he fucking pussied out when he'd built it all up, and then Watts fucking sugared him.
So this was a mark running his mouth. However, still a mark. Any issue with the idea that there were baby faces and heels staying after to watch? Or how did that work?
Well, no, because it's the goddamn giant Irish McNeil Boys Club. The fucking, it's a basketball floor. We could stand over there and the other guy could stand over, all the baby faces like we were at the ring. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think, was this before or after Doc had even switched heel? Nevertheless, it wasn't like everybody was standing around. It was that we were in the building observing this conduct go on.
Was that the first time you had seen the sugar hold?
No, because, besides the fact that it's as old as the hills and it was probably one of the first shoot holes in pro wrestling. Remember, I've told you this, I guess it's been so many years, as a rib one night. It was a 6-man with me and the Midnight Express, Bobby and Dennis Condrey in Houma, Louisiana against the Fantastics, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And it's fucking Houma. And we never wanted to get serious heat in Houma because they'd already tried to fucking kill us on a few different occasions. But what Dennis taught me the fucking sugar hole in the locker room. He just said, here, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And legitimately, at a couple of times in my life that people have not in a confrontational way, but just kidding around, in public, civilians. Oh, that wrestling stuff. I said, well, here, I can show you one little hold. I've immobilized people bigger than me because if they don't know what the fuck, and they let you get it on them, right? But nevertheless, it works. So Dennis shows me the sugar. So at the point where they're going to get the heat on Tommy Rogers and tag me in so I can do an elbow dropper, manager kick or whatever, and then get chased back out. Instead, before he knew what I was doing, I slid in and got the sugar hold on him. And he's like, what the fuck? I said, all right now. He said, please let me up. Please let me up. Okay, shooter. And then we did something, but just as a rib, it got a pop out of him. I don't know if Duggan was laughing. Bobby Fulton was tickled. But it's a simple thing that works. And the only time that it doesn't, and the reason why that William Harding got that money out of him, if the guy applying it, his size works against him. If the other guy is smaller, his small size works for him. If you got a big, muscly guy trying to sugar a wiry little skinny guy that's all skin and bones, then you can't trap the body enough to make it work and he can squirm out of it. So in the case of the sugar, it's better for a smaller guy to put it on a bigger one than a bigger one is to put it on a smaller one. Does that make any sense?
It does. And William Harding was smaller than Bob Roop, also a martial artist, so somewhat limber, could move around.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
And Roop was rotund even at the time.
And you were a little, when you said that's what he had to do to get the money out of him. No, he had to do that, and then he also had to get the crowd going because they didn't want to pay him, and then he had to get the newspaper to write an article because they still wouldn't pay him, and then eventually they paid him.
But he started the ball in motion by actually getting out of the fucking hole.
And if you're listening, hello, William. Very nice man.
Hello, yes. Sugar, sugar. Oh, honey, honey, let me go now. You're popping my blood vessels.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I thought you were going one way, and it just, I guess you put the Archies in the sugar hold there, I guess we could say.
So how you doing, Sugar?